Next Bible sketching live stream. Need to check and make sure we're running. On my computer it says we are. I'm checking on my iPad. Yep, looks like we're good. Okay, and this is every Tuesday at 9 a.m. It's Eastern time, and we're gonna look at another verse of the day from BibleGateway.com. So, all right. So here's our verse, Luke 2:6-7. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger, because there was no guest room available for them. This is pretty straightforward. Kind of wish there was a little more abstract, philosophical things to think about, but I'm sure there are if we dive in a little more. I'm just looking at the context here, so I'm not making like a hard and fast rule of I have to stick to this verse, but anyway, so this is when they're just getting to Bethlehem, and Mary and Joseph are, and they couldn't find any room in the inn. We'll just go back to it, and we will keep it straightforward. I'm going to for now. So I'm going to set this aside. I talked about this last time, kind of setting your background to a little bit of a mid-tone. That kind of helps to allow you to put in more highlights and all that. So this week's kind of different doing the live stream. My family's all home on Christmas break, and I was kind of worried about it being quiet for the live stream, and but they're all still sleeping, so it kind of works out good. All right. So the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. So I am just going to do kind of that first joy of the parents seeing their baby. It's quite a special moment, and so when I'm drawing like this, I'm just kind of blocking in main shapes. This is kind of like Mary sort of laying back. Maybe there's some hay or something for her to lean on. And we want to put maybe a little above her. This is baby Jesus. See, I'm not making him real perfect. You know, we get so into detail, but I need to move this down just a little bit. Again, you can be sketching along. You can sketch what I'm drawing, or you can draw your own ideas. You can use paper. It can be lined paper if that's all you have. You can use a marker board. You can do watercolor. You can use whatever you want. It works very well and easy for me doing these live streams to do it digitally, but I would like to sometime when I get a little more ambition, get things set up to do some different mediums. Alright. I'm not feeling super warmed up right now, so we'll see how these faces come out, but remember that's kind of the idea with the sketching is, you know, part of my idea with this Bible sketching is just to get us drawing and not being worried about perfection, and it's getting our minds going, getting us thinking about the Word, about the Bible, dwelling on it, and also getting us drawing, getting us, if you're an artist, just getting you to draw, not worry. I really want these big smiley expressions, and it's going to be hard to make them look right. I don't want them too cartoony. Give them a little bit of a beard here. I tend to draw my guys to always look like me for some reason. I draw a lot of cartoons of my family, and so my characters a lot of times always look like my family. Mary's going to be exhausted for sure. I kind of started drawing her with kind of that typical wrap over her head, but I doubt she had that on. She probably was trying to be comfortable, so. I think my proportions are a little off. I don't want to worry about it too much, but I won't worry too much about that expression, but sometimes I'll write words like, if I just can't get it out, if I just can't draw what I want in there, so I'll just write in descriptor words. So if I come back to this, it gets me in the mindset of what I was trying to get across, and then I can try to develop it further, try to see if I can figure out how I can make it look the way I was hoping. But I also, at the same time, try to push myself. I'm wanting to understand this situation of Jesus being born. I'll bet he was a lot smaller than this. I kind of forget how little newborns are. Don't see him that often lately. I do have a new niece that I hopefully will be meeting this week. It's kind of hard to draw here. I don't know what what I'm trying to get here with the baby, but stick some lines. She's kind of folding her hands over her belly. Not quite sure what her legs are doing, but let's say they're just kind of reclined. I don't like how he's leaning here. I like him up high like this. This is another thing with sketching, is you're working out the problems. I want Joseph up here, and I want Jesus kind of next, and then down here is Mary. There's sort of this line of action, so you get story going. If I put them all on the same plane, it doesn't have as much movement to it. He's a little high for kneeling on his knee. Maybe he's kind of getting up. He's just moving a little bit. Maybe he can lean. Maybe he is high enough. Maybe he's behind her a little bit. I want to add in some tone in the back, so I'm going to do this a little differently than I've done it in the past. This is called the lasso tool. I'm basically selecting this whole area. Bring it down here. Alright, so then I want kind of a gray color. Oh shoot, I used the wrong tool. I'm going to add in a dark tone behind everything, just to really set them off. And I could touch it up if I wanted to. Then we use the bucket tool, and then we fill it in. I lost my text there. I'm okay with that, that's fine. And get rid of that selection. That makes it pretty hard edges there. But I could take an eraser. Let's see, where'd my brushes go? Get a soft eraser, and I could kind of soften some of these edges. You know, you can draw with an eraser. Maybe the next drawing I do here, I'll do that. I'll show you what I mean. I could make Jesus glowing a little bit, I don't know. You know, another thing here is I don't know what the light situation is, but I think I'm kind of done with this drawing right now. I'm okay with that. Let's look back at the scripture here. The time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger. So I'm going to do, so I'm just going to take an area here, and I'm going to make it not quite black, but pretty dark. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to that eraser. So I'm using an eraser, and this is Mary wrapping Jesus in the cloth. So, and one way you can do this if you're not working digitally, a really good way, pencil you could do it, but it's a lot of like laying in the pencil. It's a lot to color in. But you can use charcoal, get some Vine charcoal, and just scribble it all over your paper in an area. You could start with a small little 3" by 3" area just to test it out, but scribble it all down, and then use a kneaded eraser. It's I have one sitting out. It's these kind of gray, gummy erasers. You can, this one's getting kind of hard, but you can kind of stretch them and shape them, and you know, make a little point on it, and then use that and kind of erase out your drawing, and kind of focus on, and let's say we've got this, the manger, the light's going to kind of hit the rim of it, maybe a little bit of the hay, a little bit of the head of Jesus and his body. Let's see, Mary is, you know, maybe it's on the side of her head here and along the side of her robe, or I don't know what you'd call that, but and see how cool that is? It's like I haven't put that much down, but like you're starting to get an idea of what's going on. So here's the cloth. A little highlight on her hand here. A little highlight coming up her arm here and here. And if you need to, if you make a mistake with this, it's no problem. Let's say I put something there. Well, of course, digitally I can just undo. But if you're working with the charcoal or on here, I could switch to a brush, and I can just grab that color, make the brush a little bigger, and I can just color it back in. So, and with the charcoal, just color it back in if you need to, and no problem. So I'm kind of designing here where the brightest brights are. I'm kind of thinking of on his head, and then just like on the last drawing, kind of the story, the line of where things are going. We've got it from Mary's face up here and coming down her arm, and then to Jesus's head and face. I don't know if I want to get more detailed with his face or not, but maybe this hay, I can kind of create these lines that help lead you into his head. It kind of looks a little bit like fire. Maybe I don't want it curving that way. Thank you, Rochelle. Yeah, it certainly is fun trying different things like this. I could add maybe just a hint of Joseph here. Maybe overdoing it, but or I'm just thinking of a little bit more in the background, just to give a little more of a sense of space. I could even make a bigger brush. We got this cloth here, and just add a little more of a sense of light there. So I don't know if that's better or worse. Let's get rid of this arrow. But anyway, that's kind of another way of sketching. Alright, I'm going to go back to the scripture. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger, because there was no guest room available for them. I'm trying to think of that no guest room idea. I know there's kind of different things of they could have been in a cave or some shed or some kind of outbuilding. I just kind of want to dwell on this thought, I guess, just how people would open their homes. Like they would allow you to stay there. I could erase, but we kind of think of this warm, cozy, I guess I think of almost like in Lord of the Rings. Is it the Prancing Pony that they go to? Just this warm, cozy inn. But I guess I want to think about there was this nice place they could have gone, a comfortable place they could have gone, like not just to rest, but to give birth to a baby. Like that's a pretty big deal. I mean, think of how comfortable we need things today. I think I'm going to make this a night scene too. I kind of like that idea. But over here, kind of want to make this a little more rickety, I guess. And right now, I don't even really know what I'm going for with this. I'm just kind of laying in some shapes. And then as I'm laying those shapes, it might give me some ideas. You know, maybe some boards are just kind of, they were falling over, and so then they just kind of tacked some other stuff up. You know, they didn't really try to fix it. So here's Mary and Joseph, I guess, walking over to the, or I don't know, the back house shed thing. I was going to put a donkey there, but they probably wouldn't have really cared about bringing their donkey over there. Maybe they already tied the donkey up. I'm going to make the donkey just kind of grazing, maybe is what you would say. Sorry if I'm talking too quiet. I don't think that looks like a donkey. Maybe he sits a little lower. Anyway. There we go. Donkey. Let's label it. Let's put, here's the innkeeper. He's just kind of watching them head out. You know what, that's an interesting thing to, I'm just kind of thinking about, what was this innkeeper thinking? You know, if he was compassionate, he maybe would have really figured something out. Why did he not have room? I'm going to look at this. So they were going to register, expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born. So in Luke, it doesn't really say much. I could go to Matthew. I'm not going to worry about it. Put some little mountainy stuff in the back. Maybe some other buildings kind of around. I mean, I guess everybody was coming to Bethlehem to register, I think. Any Bible scholars can chime in, but so I think it was certainly a big play, a little more of the darks here. I'm going to color them in. Roll. Just get a big brush. I should do this on the next drawing, but we'll try some just bigger, lay in some big shapes like this first before doing the drawing. Some of these rooms, I think I'm going to have like a little bit of light going on. People are winding down for the evening. Maybe just down here, it's, you really get a sense of the light, you know, warmth and activity going on in the inn. Like, you know, they could have had that, but instead, no, you have to go out to this shed. Guess their shadows need to go the same direction. And then also just thinking of Mary and Joseph, like, I'm sure they were kind of frustrated that they couldn't find a nice place, but also in some ways, you know, we're so used to like our great comforts, our castles of homes and stuff. And they were probably a lot more used to what we would consider roughing it, and that was just kind of normal for them probably. Maybe this is where the animals were kept. You know, the nativity scenes always do have the animals, and maybe there's animals out there. I don't really want to play that up right now, but the main point that I'm trying to get across here, and this is where I think a lot of people can get caught up in their sketching or their ideas with art pieces, is just too many details, too many ideas into one picture. And I am very guilty of that. I might even have too much going on here. So I need to like remember what point. My main point is this contrast of this big building and this little building. And I don't think I've truly captured it here. But this is an idea I could come back to, and maybe I even will. Wow, it's already 9:30. I'm going to go another 10 minutes or something. But just this idea of small and big. And here, the Savior of the world is having to be born in the small, humble place, not the big or more comfortable space. I don't know how good the inn was, but just another thing that really sets apart, you know, this understanding of God and who we are, and it's not about power and money and possessions and bigger and better and all of that. God has designed a totally different way of life that we struggle to grasp. Ideas like, it's better to give than to receive. It's not very natural for us to understand that. I'm going to put a little bit of highlight on them. I guess there's kind of a little bit of a feel of a sun going down. Make it even darker up here. Oh yeah, that kind of brings in some mood. I don't know, I could play with this for quite a while. Definitely would like to add a little more to the setting, the buildings around here. As I've said before, I move really fast in my drawings sometimes. I just get so many ideas and I just slop it in. Well, maybe I'll do one more drawing with this idea of, I was talking about blocking in the big shape. And I'm going to think about this innkeeper. Let's go to the innkeeper. Kind of would like to have a little more information, but let's say it's, so there can be a little bit of drawing here. I actually don't even want it to be a good square. I just want to, this is sort of part of the building. And then I really want a sense of light behind him. You might be thinking, what in the heck is this? I want him a little higher. I'm going to say he is kind of sad. I'm going to say he's a compassionate guy. I'm going to say he's just thinking like, I wish I had a place for you, but I've already got things set up for these other people. The best I can give you is this place out here. I know I see you're with child, and I wish I could help you. And let's say in the background here, he's got, you know, people are back here, they're happy, and this guy's telling a big fish story back here to some other people. I'm just playing up that warm, comfortable inn that they could have been in. Here's like maybe the innkeeper's wife. She's serving some stuff to their guests. And you can get a lot going on. Like, you know, this took me just a couple of minutes, maybe, to block this stuff in. And like, we've got a story going. I guess I need to play a little more with innkeeper here. But I kind of I'm establishing my composition. Oh, I gotta figure out what I want to do for the face here. So I'm going over, you can't see I guess, but I'm changing my colors. I've got this little color picker, and I'm just using, I've got these gray, just 5 different colors here, and I just kind of keep grabbing different ones so I can sort of quickly go between them a little bit first. So when you want like more sad expressions, where did my color go? There it is. You kind of do these eyebrows where the outside, or you know, the eyes, the eyebrows, the eyelids, the outsides are down and the insides are up. That's sort of a sense of worry. You can already kind of feel that worry coming in. And then the face, or the mouth, is another good expression point. And we want to kind of play up the sort of the upside down C shape. And you could hint at it. You could make it real obvious. I'm trying to make this realistic, and some of my marks are looking maybe a little more cartoony. I think his eyes are just a little low. That kind of makes it look cartoony. At least to me, he looks kind of sad about the situation, like doesn't know what he can do. And I could add some highlight, kind of a glow around him. You know, why is it so important about this innkeeper? Why is that in the Bible? And I don't know. Haven't really thought about that. But see, drawing this out makes me kind of think about that, like kind of wonder. And that's what I like about doing this. Like, it gets me to think about things I wouldn't normally think about. This guy's There's a candle on the table here. Let's say it's like right here. See that bright light? And that's really shining maybe under his nose, and under his chin, and under his eyes, under his arms. It's giving a nice glow on his chest. This person's getting on their face. Maybe this person's sitting, so there's a table here and there's someone on this side, there's someone on this side. Here's the table. This person's on the back side with the storyteller. See how just these blobby shapes, they give you enough. There's an artist, Pascal Campion, that I remember reading about him, and he was saying that he wanted to be an artist so bad. He's a current artist. He's maybe a little bit older than me, but he really wanted to be an artist, and just all his teachers and everybody just kept saying, yeah, you're not going to make it. Your drawing skills are not very good. And he kind of knew it, and he just kept working at it. Well, when he went to art school, he learned a lot about the storytelling, and he was really good at storytelling through a picture. And so he, when he started trying to get jobs, art jobs, like more for advertisements, I guess, he was getting the jobs with like stick figure drawings because he was so good at telling the story just through stick figures. And like, he would spend he realized the ones he'd spend all this time on trying to make a great character and all this stuff, the clients, I guess, they liked the ones with the better story. They didn't care if it looked real polished or not. So that really has stuck with me. It's made me consider what is important, and I have found in my art, and I've gotten this feedback that usually I get the main part of the painting, I get it in maybe the first 10-20 minutes, and then I'll play with it for like hours, and it really doesn't add that much. So there's a little bit of light. There's maybe a candle on this side as well. So yeah, just blobbing stuff in like this, you can get a good drawing. All right. And I always like to go back and just kind of look at the big picture of. You can do it on separate layers or separate sheets if you want, but you can kind of see today. I guess we explored a lot more of some sketching styles, but definitely just thinking about Jesus being born, Jesus coming to this earth and coming humbly. I really kind of like to think more about this idea of that smaller place, and the whole situation of the inn and where Jesus was born. It was interesting thinking about the innkeeper and maybe what he felt, and I could try another one and just sort of explore him being maybe a bit more stubborn. But for me, I think I would relate more to this character and feel kind of bad. So thanks again for following along and watching, and I'll be back here again next week, Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So have a great Christmas time celebrating Jesus' birth, and we'll see you next time.